Hello and welcome to ABAP Golden Rules short video. We'll talk about classical performance guidelines for using OpenSQL. And rule number 1 is keep the result set small. Let's assume we have a database server, application server, and the end user. The user is running ABAP program and waiting for the result. Imagine that the program was written by a developer who missed this video and didn't follow the golden rules. He didn't take care about making specific where clause in select statements. He didn't check driver table for emptiness before each for all entries construction. Instead, he retrieved a huge amount of unnecessary rows from database and filtered them out on application server afterwards. The user was really disappointed with performance of such a program. The second rule is minimize amount of transferred data. Unfortunately, the developer paid no attention to this one as well. He was lazy and used select star instead of select with field list. He ignored aggregate functions and performed all heavy calculations on ABAP side. And he never checked for duplicates in driver table before for all entries. As a result, he transferred too much extra data on application server and made the user furious with his super slow program. Rule 3. Minimize the number of data transfers. At first, our developer thought, it would be nice to reduce the quantity of round trips between application server and database in my program. But very soon he was distracted by the cat and forgot about that. Designing joins and subqueries seemed too complicated for him, so he decided to use nested loops instead. Loop inside the loop. What can be easier for understanding and debugging? He put many select single statements into those loops to get all necessary data from database tables. And he never used array variants of insert, update, modify, and delete operations. The code was huge and looked very impressive, but worked for ages. Rule 4. Minimize the search overhead. Our developer heard somewhere that secondary indexes on database tables are not needed anymore. He was happy not to dig into this tricky topic and decided that he would never use them. He made no difference between tables with column store and row store. As a result, some selective queries on non-primary key fields in his program could never work up to the end. The last but not the least, rule 5, keep unnecessary load away from database. As we already know, the developer liked to put select statements inside loops. Many of these selections were 100% identical to each other. He didn't care about the redundancy of data retrieved from database and never considered the possibility of using table buffering. Even if buffering was switched on for some tables in ABAP dictionary, he wrote his SQL statements in such a manner that they bypassed the buffer. End users suffered a lot from such a horrible application. Luckily, the developer watched this video, fixed the code considering ABAP Golden Rules, and together with program user they lived happily ever after.